Welcome back. I am Jen Clinehens, and this is another choice hacking email psychology breakdown where I take, in this case, an abandoned cart email from Skims and uncover what's working, what's not working, and the psychology behind why. Now, I've got everything we're going to cover on the screen right now. So if you want to either come back and take a screenshot or take a screenshot now, this is a handy little image that'll summarize everything I'm going to talk about, even though I'll add some additional color and thoughts as we go. First, I'm going to break down the subject line. I've just typed it up here. The subject line said, "Get it or regret it, Jen." And I thought this was actually really clever because it's using a psychology principle called the rhyme is reason effect. Now, they may know that they're using this effect and they may not, but either way, the rhyme is reason effect says that when something rhymes, it's actually more memorable and more persuasive. If you think about an example of this principle in real life, it would be Johnny Cochran at the O.J. Simpson trial saying, "If the glove don't fit, you must acquit." And that line really stuck in jurors' heads. It stuck in everybody's heads. It lodged itself into pop culture. Okay, moving on to our headline. This headline is an interesting one. It says, "It's not a want, it's a need." If you think in terms of the general market, like how customers might think of this brand, they definitely think of it as a luxury brand, and a luxury brand is almost always seen as an indulgence. I want to have it, but I could probably go to Target and get the same thing for $12, but I would much rather have the Skims. Regardless of what you think of Kim Kardashian, she's done a really good job of making this feel like a luxury brand. But this headline is an interesting one in that it does reframe Skims from being this like luxury item that a customer might be splurging on to becoming a necessary layer. So I need to have the shapewear. I need to have this t-shirt or bralette or whatever it might be. And that actually makes it a little bit easier for customers to talk themselves into buying it. It's just reframing the language. Now, this is a principle, the framing effect, and it basically says how information is presented to us can change what decision we make and our behavior based off of that information. So a good example would be 5% fat yogurt, right? So I have some yogurt. It is 5% fat. It is 95% fat-free. How you frame and present that bit of information is going to influence how persuasive this information is. So if you're taking this yogurt and you're selling it to people who really care about like a low-fat diet, maybe they're watching calories, things like that, you would probably put on the package, "This is 95% fat-free." But if you're taking that same yogurt and you're marketing it to French chefs who notoriously like even more fat in the food, you would probably market it as 5% fat yogurt. Different audiences, different framing, and that same information becomes more persuasive depending on how you mold, shape, and present it. On to suggested items. Now, suggested items is this section down here where they say these would be perfect for you, and they show boxer shorts, a t-shirt, a thong, a bralette, so a mix of things. And if you see, the reason I got this abandoned cart email is because I stuck this bralette in the cart. I didn't continue to buy it, probably because it cost $36. And I was like, I like to put things in carts when I'm looking at them, but never buy them. I'm just one of those annoying people that email marketers really hate because no matter how many of these they send me, I'm probably not going to go back and buy it. This is a great place to include other products that the customer might be interested in, especially if, like Skims, you have limited numbers of things. Skims is notorious, I think, for having like colors and sizes and products sell out, probably on purpose. It's like a scarcity lever, which can be really effective if you see something that you like, or like they saw earlier this year and then late last year, if you have a product that goes viral. So they had a bodysuit that went viral. And part of what was driving the desire for that wasn't just the virality of the product. It was also that every time you visited skims.com, it was sold out, or it was sold out in almost every color and size. This is a great example of putting some product suggestions next to a product that you haven't completed a purchase for to get you more excited about what's out there, looking at the variety of what Skims has to offer. I will say, however, directing customers to other product categories here has the potential to be distracting because of a psychology principle called choice overload. Choice overload basically says that some choice is good, like it can attract us to browse and make us feel like a brand has a lot of inventory and it's some place that we want to check out. But when it comes to making a decision, we can get overwhelmed, we can get anxious, we can feel like we're never going to make the perfect decision, so why make any decision at all? And in general, it can work against the goal of this email, which is getting me to click shop now and go back and buy this bralette. Something I would advise Skims to do, because there's no way to know without experimenting. I would advise Skims to basically take this section and test a couple of different variations. So maybe test something that doesn't have any products at all. So you could put in just a few quotes, some social proof, see how that does. I would keep this one and then feature all bralettes and see what happens. Maybe feature half the number of products, right? So there's a number of different directions you can go in to try to fight against choice overload and see if having a more single-minded product message here might actually be more encouraging for people, because they'll say, oh, I was in the market for a bralette and you show me 6 other bralettes. Oh, these are really interesting. I should go to the website and see which one is the right one for me. But again, we want to be really mindful of something like choice overload because it can work against us. Okay, so let's move on to the subheader. Now, this one is very tiny, so I'm going to read it to you. And it says, Jen, add soft smoothing bralette to your cart immediately so it doesn't sell out. And then in parentheses, it says, for good. Very scary. Oh no, what if this bralette's gone forever and I can't ever get it again? Basically, this line is cementing a little bit of FOMO, so the fear of missing out. And it makes me feel like somebody else is going to sneak in there and grab the product that I was interested in before I can get in there. And this is using a principle called loss aversion, married up a little bit with scarcity. Loss aversion says that humans are hardwired to hate missing out on things. We don't want to miss out. And that is especially true when we're in competition for something with other people. A good example of this might be something like let's say the 2020 events, the events of 2020, when you would see people walking into a grocery store and they had no intention of buying toilet paper, but they would walk around the store and see everyone else with 4 giant, packages of toilet paper in their cart, get to the toilet paper aisle, and before they know it, they're in a fist fight over a product that they didn't even really want in the first place, but they feel like they're going to miss out on it. They feel like they're in competition with other folks, and this creates this crazy desire for something that they didn't even want in the first place. I think the intention here, because it's the first bit of text in the email, is to have it function as a subheader. So when you go to your inbox, you'll see the subject line, and then you'll see this as a subheader like, Jen, add this bralette to your cart, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, but it's still in the email. It needs to do a job, and it is almost impossible to notice, and it's very hard to read. Let's go into the CTA, this section here. So you've obviously got the bralette, you've got some star ratings, you've got a number of reviews, so 321 reviews, the price, $36, and then a button here that says shop now. Okay, so including some social proof here in the form of star reviews right next to a call to action is good. It's de-risking things. It's making me feel like, oh, if 321 people liked it this much, then it must be safe for me to buy. It must be a good product. The other thing I would add here, though, is that star rating, it's a 4 out of 5. It isn't very convincing. Potentially, I would test taking out the star rating and maybe just leaving 321 reviews or putting in some quotes, some social proof, make it a little bit more persuasive, because 4 out of 5, I feel like it should have a better rating than that. Now, that being said, there has been research done on what is the most persuasive star rating, and it's actually not 5 stars. When people see 321 reviews and 5 stars, they immediately start to ding ding, these might be fake. You get a little suspicious if there's that many reviews and there aren't any reviews that are bad. Best star rating was between 4.3 and 4.5. So you want it to be pretty good, better than 4 stars, but you don't want it to be too good, because then people start to get a little bit suspicious. Swapping this out for some social proof might be a good test to do, just to see if we can make it a little bit more persuasive right next to the call to action. Now, the other thing I would say is this call to action button, shop now, is really easy to miss. It is small, it's a very neutral color, which makes sense because the Skims brand is a very neutral palette, so like nudes, white, black, but no one is going to notice this button. And there's a reason why, and I can tell you because I've done a little bit of salience analysis here. Now, this is a predictive AI tool that I use. Brands like LVMH, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson use this tool. I use it with my clients. I've used it with past clients like McDonald's and Adidas to basically figure out what people will notice and what they'll ignore. Now, I've taken a little snip of this email. I didn't want to take the whole email because obviously you're going to see a hunk at a time. But I just wanted to see, what is the probability that somebody is going to notice this call to action button? Now, you'll see these little scores up here. These are called probability of perception. How likely out of 100% is it that I will notice an element? You can see the image. It's a big, beautiful image. It's high contrast. 100%. Nobody is missing this image. unless it doesn't load in the email. If you have this image in your email, it is there. Obviously, predictably, nobody saw this little tiny bit of subcopy, a wasted space. About 25% of people will notice the bra. And then let's get down to the button. There's only a 12% chance that someone is going to see that right away. And that is an issue. You don't want to hunt for call to action. I would create a slightly higher contrast button. So you could stay within the Skims brand and do that. You could have a black button with white text. You can make the button bigger. I think there's a variety of things that you could try to actually increase the salience of the call to action, which is really like the most important thing in the whole email. It's the thing you want them to do. Thank you so much for watching this video. These breakdown videos have been different than a lot of my other case study videos, which are more like traditional YouTube videos. These are really deep, and I've been getting a lot of good feedback about the content and the depth. If you want to learn more about the psychology of marketing and how to just be a smarter marketer, there's two ways you can do that. The first is to check out a few more of my videos. You can subscribe to the channel. I'm releasing a video a couple times a week. And the second thing you can do is join the free Choice Hacking newsletter. The link will be down in the description, choicehacking.com/read. Every single week, I send out a behavioral science breakdown or a marketing case study that helps you become a smarter marketer in less than 5 minutes for free. And you'll join a lot of people from brands like Google, Coke, Disney, IKEA, and startups and scale-ups from all over the world who read my newsletter. There's about 8,000 people on the list, and we would love to have you join.